Good morning, Santa Clarita. Delgado here with you on this Thursday, aka Little Friday. Friday, Junior. We're almost to the weekend, but first we have to get through today. But to help us to get through today, I have a special guest in studio. We have Scott Hoolahan from loanDepot, your reverse mortgage specialist. Good morning, Scott.
Good morning, my friend. How are you?
Doing great, doing great. Weekend's almost here. We were just talking about football. We're that much closer to another game. Unfortunately, we are Raider fans, but we still like to root on for our team. But we're here today to talk about reverse mortgage because you are the reverse mortgage specialist representing loanDepot, but with a more senior focus and kind of the misconceptions people have about reverse mortgages. Can you talk a little bit more about that?
Yeah, thanks again for having me in. And, it was part of the reason that I was compelled to kind of do this series where I come in and try to help dispel the myths, right? Because even today, and we're probably, more than 35 years past the point where the federal government really took hold of this product in particular to create mandates by lenders, create disclosures and regulations to really highly regulate the loan to make certain that the seniors that were being offered this product were educated, fully aware, had every opportunity to back out of a reverse mortgage application with no obligation. So it was important to me to get that out there for people to understand. There's not a lot of differences in the encumbrance, the basic encumbrance of a mortgage that, a lot of us will, like I think you and I talked about last time, there's not many of us out there that own our home free and clear or had the cash to just buy that home. And the truth is, where most of America is making a payment on a home every month by way of a mortgage. So really, who owns that home? The bank. Not a lot different than a reverse mortgage. The difference is that now, instead of you sending them money every month, they're going to give you money. And that could be monthly. There's a number of options that people have when they go into a reverse mortgage. They could set up a time frame where they're going to take that equity that's available through the formula of age, appraisal, and loan amount and start to get an income over time from that mortgage. They could get a lump sum. They could take whatever equity is available based on that formula. Again, their age, the value of the home, if there's a mortgage on the property or not, and then take that lump sum and do with it whatever they want. I've seen clients buy a second home, and one of the things I mentioned to you was I've seen clients create what's called a living inheritance. And I think this is kind of one of those things, when I say that, people go, what's a living inheritance? Because typically everybody's waiting.
Right, everyone's waiting for that inheritance, and there's some families out there are kind of like waiting for that to happen. Unfortunately, just so that they can reap the benefits, I guess, if it were to that. But you can have that living inheritance where it's exactly what it is. You get that inheritance while your loved ones are living, and to share the wealth and how they kind of see fit to do so. Because there's obviously with in the inheritance that could kind of get a little ugly sometimes on where it goes, but you can actually see it and have the seniors see it, especially where their money's going and having the joy of their faces. You mentioned last time about just having their grandkids' college paid off or a new car, and just seeing them just their eyes light up. And you mentioned you had goosebumps last time, and that is great because you get to assist in doing that. And they had this option this whole time, and they had no idea that they can do that.
Exactly right. It's, being a part of that experience, look, the transfer of equity in real property, in real estate, has for generations been what creates wealth for a family, right? The passing on of that valued asset to the next generation has been part of what wealth creation is all about. I mean, there's really two things that, that the wealthy have done really well, and it's manage real estate and have insurance. And both of those tools, both of those things as assets create generational wealth for the next generation. And so what a reverse mortgage can do, I'll give you an example. I was speaking with some clients who actually live here in a great 55 and older community called Friendly Valley, right? And it's well known in our community, probably one of the first 55 and older communities for those of us that have been here a long time. And you've got people that are literally millionaires on paper because they own one of those homes free and clear. And this doesn't have to just be Friendly Valley, but really anywhere where a senior lives, and they've amassed equity that on paper gives them a lot of buying power, right? And they're sitting on that. And again, to your point, and what we're talking about here is heirs might be sitting on the sideline, kind of hoping that at some point that will come their direction, and they, come on, we're human, right? So you start dreaming about what does that look like? What would that enable me? What would just a piece of that enable me to do? To become a homeowner, to help kids pay off debt, to maybe buy that second home for the family, right? Where it becomes that retreat on an annual or biannual basis where we all go for Thanksgiving or the holidays or the summer. And by tapping the equity in that home that the senior owns, home free and clear today, or maybe just with a small mortgage on it, they can get access to that lump sum and be able to gift that to their heirs today. And I'm not a CPA. I think everyone should, seek CPA counseling. But there's this, I've had a couple of clients recently, the gift tax, and I can only give so
right.
much every year. And I'm here to tell you, do your homework. Again, there's a myth out there, and you need to understand the facts. And the facts are truly that if you're gifting an amount of money that's less than, I want to say right now, the cap has gone somewhere to 19 million.
Oh, okay.
If your estate is, I remember it being around 12 million, and it was like, okay, well, I'm never going to get there, right? So again, there's this, there are some myths and some things that get passed around by the water cooler about how much somebody could gift to an heir on a yearly basis, and it's a reporting fact. It's not a taxation fact. So
right.
You got to look into
there's
things.
plenty of homework to do, and other avenues and people to talk to. But you are one, and we're talking with Scott Hoolahan from loanDepot, the reverse mortgage specialist. You are part of the puzzle for them, for that generational wealth to spread it while you're here. Why not? You've worked so hard for it. Give it to your family while you're here. And it's great. And again, you are part of that puzzle. How do people get in touch with you for more information or a number out there?
Super easy. So go to reversescott.com. That'll take you to my loanDepot site, which is really just my name spelled out. I don't mind putting out there. You can call me direct, 805-901-7373. Go to my website. Click on Contact Me, send me an email. Let's set up an appointment. I'm happy to sit down with the seniors, the homeowners, the heirs, answer questions, dispel the myths, and listen, it's not for everyone. And what I pride myself on doing is being a resource of information, being that truly a consultant and a trusted advisor. If this isn't the right thing for a family to do, I'm going to be the first one sitting at the table to say, this isn't what I would recommend you do.
Call Scott, reversescott.com. Was that it?
Reversescott.com.
He'll let you know your options because there are plenty of out there. Thank you for coming in, Scott. And if you got the tail end of that interview, you can catch it in its entirety by heading on over to facebook.com or youtube.com/KHTS Radio. Good morning, Santa Clarita. I'm Delgado. This is KHTS FM 98.1 and AM 1220.